And welcome back, rugby fans, to Rugby411. As always, I'm your host. My name is Joshua Shibata, and this is our MLR Pick'ems for week number 17, the second to last week, the penultimate week of the MLR 2022 season. So many things are still on the line, lots to play for. A couple of teams have been eliminated numerically, mathematically from the playoffs, but you still have a bunch of teams competing. 8 teams competing for 6 spots, so lots to compete for. It is an exciting. 9 teams technically competing for 6 spots. It is a lot to play for, and it's coming down to the wire, guys. This is a lot of fun. We're also, of course, going to look at our SuperBru MLR Rugby411 Pick'em leaderboard, and an interesting person won the gold cap this week. I'm sure he's been waiting for this video. We'll go over that near the end of the video, but let's go over the games. There's going to be some very, very hard games to pick. I feel last week, as per evident by the results, it was a very, very difficult week of picking teams as well. So I think it's going to be again this week, and there could be some upsets here as well. So let's go over the week of MLR action. Starts again. We have Friday night footy. Friday, May 27th, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are at Starfire Stadium as Houston host the Seattle Seawolves. It is going to be an elimination game for Seattle in this one. Seattle has to win this game in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. Houston, if they can win this game, keeps their process of possibly getting... They have a shot at that number 1 seed in the West, but this is a elimination game for Seattle. If Seattle does not win this game, they are out of the playoffs, so a lot to play for. Right now, though, Houston is on a 4-game win streak. They are peaking at the right time. They are looking like a very dangerous team. As I mentioned before, if I was the number 2 seed or possibly number 3 seed in the Western Conference, meaning if I'm LA or Austin, I do not want to play Houston right now, especially not at Houston. Houston's going over to Seattle. This is a rematch from week number 6, which was actually a very close game. 19-21. Houston walked away with the win. Again, Seattle is pretty motivated to win this game. It is in Seattle at Starfire Stadium. They totally have that 16th man down. It's the loudest stadium in Major League Rugby. Very diehard fans. A lot to play for. I'm sure the fans know that this is a make or break game, so they'll be out in droves. But man, can't deny the fact that Houston's been looking really, really good. They're my new number 1 team in the power rankings. So as much as I feel Seattle has a shot, and this is going to be a very close game, I feel Houston is looking like the better team right now, and I think Houston will win, and unfortunately that drops Seattle out of the playoff race for the Western Conference. Moving on to Saturday, May 28th, another elimination game here, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Toronto Arrows travel to Silverback Stadium. Toronto Arrows just coming off of the biggest, one of the biggest upsets. There's been a lot of big upsets this season, but one of the biggest upsets this season, beating the former number 1 power rank team, the New England Free Jacks, and still technically the best team in the league by record. Toronto Arrows are now going to go against another powerhouse in the East, Rugby ATL, who just took down their rival for those playoff spots, Rugby New York. Toronto is, again, like Seattle, a team on the outside looking in. They have a chance at the playoffs, but they have to win this game. They cannot lose to Atlanta. If they let Atlanta win, they are out of the playoffs. This is a rematch from week number 9, another close game. Atlanta barely beating Toronto 20-14. Again, this is another one that's going to be really close. You have Toronto that just came off of a huge win beating New England. But you have ATL coming off a big win beating New York. Momentum favors both sides, so we're going to go with the home field advantage, Silverback Stadium. So I'm going to say that Atlanta wins this one, and unfortunately that means, again, it's going to drop Toronto out of the playoffs for the Eastern Conference. Moving on, Saturday, May 28th, 1:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, a very, very important game for both of these teams. Well, theoretically for only one team. LA Giltinis going over to Zion Stadium to face the Utah Warriors. Utah looked very, very impressive in their win in Utah over the Austin Gilgronis, which actually gave LA the chance to take that number one spot in the Western Conference. But now they have to face Utah in Zion Stadium. Utah came to LA, one of the rare times that LA lost at the Coliseum. Utah beat the Giltinis. Now, granted, I was at that game, not to take anything away from Utah, but LA just did not play very well. Utah capitalized on those mistakes. Again, I'm gonna be a homer. I'll admit to this, but if LA can beat Utah, and no disrespect to Seattle, because that's going to be the last game of the season for LA. I feel LA will secure that number one spot, possibly could secure the number one overall spot, depending on what happens to the New England Free Jacks. But, man, I feel it's a very, very important game. LA has got back Luke Carty. So they now and Luke Carty looked great against Dallas, but Luke Carty looked really good coming off of a serious pectoral injury that took him out for the whole entire season until just last week, but he looked really, really good. That kind of solidifies that fly half position that LA has really been having issues with. Hanko Hermesheis, who is a try-scoring machine for LA, is coming back from suspension. Coach Rene Ai, who's also plays fly half, is coming off of his suspension. So they're going to have quite a few people back. Hopefully their skipper Dave Dennis will be back from his injuries. Hopefully a lot of people who have been rested for the Dallas game will show up for the Utah game. A lot playing on the line here. I know Utah is out of the race, but they would love to play spoiler as they did with Austin. It's at Zion Field again. That's a hard place to play. But you know what? I'm going to go with LA and have LA walk away with the win and be on their way to securing, hopefully, that number one spot, if you're an LA fan like I am. And now let's finish up the rest of the games for week number 17. Saturday, May 28th, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the last game for Saturday. The San Diego Legion goes over to the Circuit of Americas in Austin to play against the Gilgronis. I forgot to mention that the game, this is not only going to be the last game of the season for San Diego, the Houston-Seattle game, not only if Houston wins that game, eliminates Seattle, they also will eliminate San Diego. That Houston and Seattle game is on Friday, so technically, by the time this game rolls around, San Diego will already know their fate. They may already be out of the playoffs. But I feel that considering this is the last game of the season, and there's a possibility they have nothing more to play for, they might just go all out for this game and might as well finish the season on the hot streak that they're on right now. San Diego's on a 2-game winning streak. Austin, unfortunately, is on a 2-game losing streak. Losing their game against Utah, they have dropped out of the number one spot on the West. And, they are reeling right now at the worst possible time. I don't know. I feel San Diego might be able to capitalize on that. This is a rematch from week number 10, which was Austin beating San Diego 35-21. But San Diego, I feel, is looking like a better team. It kind of confirmed that their win against LA wasn't a fluke. They've looked really, really good against NOLA. That was at New Orleans. Now they're traveling to Austin. I really don't feel that San Diego will take this game lightly, even if they have nothing to play for, being eliminated from the playoffs. I feel San Diego is still going to be on that upset mentality, and I think they will beat Austin. And as an LA fan, I'm hoping they beat Austin, but there's a very big possibility that they can. So I'm giving it to San Diego for this game. And then we have 2 games for Sunday, May 29th, 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Rugby New York, coming off of that huge loss to Atlanta, going over to Segra Field to play against Old Glory. Old Glory part of that huge battle with Houston, where both teams scored a combined total of 101 points, most of any MLR game. New York looking really bad. Again, there's rumor that there was not rumor, there was news confirming that a flu bug was running through the New York team, so they definitely looked really bad against Atlanta. Hopefully they'll heal up in time. This game is very important. Obviously, New York is in the playoff picture. Old Glory is not, but Old Glory would love to play spoiler again. And I'm sure they will definitely want to put on a good show for their home crowd. But I think New York, knowing how important this game is, I think New York will bounce back and continue being in the playoff picture. And then the last game, Sunday, May 29th, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, NOLA Gold visits against New England. NOLA has been really struggling in these last games. They've only won one of their last 7. New England, though, coming off of their first loss in a long time against the Toronto Arrows. I'm sure that will fire them up, that they don't want to lose. A win here will secure not only their number 1 spot in the Eastern Conference, but number 1 spot overall. So that means if New England makes it to the MLR Championship game, it will be in New England at Veterans Stadium in Quincy, New England. So I feel that motivates them enough, so New England will walk away with the win. As an LA fan, obviously, I am hoping for the upset for NOLA, but that's asking a lot. So now let's go over our SuperBru pick'ems from last week, and I'm sure there's a certain somebody that is waiting for this moment. Let's put up the results, and congratulations, USA Rugby Union and League fan, for getting the golden cap. This is the second time this season that he has done it. Not taking anything away from you. It was a horrible week for a lot of other people, as you'll see with the results. But USA Rugby Union fan got every team right except for, obviously, the Free Jacks losing to the Toronto Arrows. Nobody picked the Arrows winning that game, but USA Rugby Union got everybody else right, so he walks away with the golden cap, 6 points. And in the eternal rivalry between USA Rugby Union and League fan and Footy Balls gets the wooden spoon this week. But to be honest, he's not the only one alone with only 2 points. As you see, all day long, Scary Larry, myself, and MSDRFC 83 all had 2 points. So we're all at the bottom, but however the math is done in SuperBru, Footy Balls is the one that gets the wooden spoon. Coming in second this week, SD California Guy, 5.5. Harry with 4.5. The Reviewer, haven't seen you in a while, 812 at 4. And Brandon B-Dog, 82 with 4. Now, looking at the overall, All J Long is still in the lead, 101.25, but Harry has slightly closed the gap, 91.58, just 10 points behind. Xkacha went up a spot to 88 with 88 points. I dropped down a spot, 87.83. Scary Larry is right behind me with 84.08. Between USA Rugby Union and League fan, 60.33 is still ahead of Footy Ball, especially after that golden cap win. I believe he's expanded his lead to a comfortable 9 points. So again, guys, still a lot to play for. We still got 2 more weeks. I know a lot of people stopped picking, but you know, there's still a chance, guys. There's still a lot to play for. Just like with these playoff games, leading into the playoffs, there's still a lot to play for everybody. We are still all chasing after All J Long. We'll see what happens in these next 2 weeks. I do again believe we're playing in the playoffs, guys. So don't forget that this is overall whoever stays at the top, including the playoffs and the championship game, gets a MLR t-shirt of your choice from yours truly. Right now, All J Long is still looking comfortable at the top, but who knows what's going to happen in the final 2 weeks of the regular season and then into the playoffs. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the pitch.